Hey friends, do you have a children's picture book manuscript that you would like to see published, but you're not sure where to start? Let me help you. Probably about in 1996, I had a manuscript, and one of my students had created this illustration for me, and that's where it ended. I also have a couple of letters to publishers that I sent out here, and here's a rejection letter also. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. And back then, we didn't have the internet. So it was like it stayed in this old, tattered folder for a long time because I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to proceed after getting the rejection letters. Well, fast forward to 2022, and that little manuscript and illustration is now an actual book. And so, what did I do to actually get this book published? Hey, I'm Shelley with Shelley's Creative Life, and I want to help you have your dreams of being a published children's author. So stay with me. I'm going to take you through the steps of how I got my book published, this one, and my bestseller, this one, how I got them published. So the first thing I did was, after I finished the manuscript, is I found an editor, because I did not want to put anything out that had errors in it. So I found an editor, excuse me. And once I received my manuscript back, I made the necessary changes and I put it into Microsoft Word, and then I uploaded it to Canva. I use Canva as my place to lay out my book so I can see how the book is going to be laid out even before I send it to the book formatter. So that was the first thing I did, was I found an editor. So the second thing was, I knew that I couldn't use my illustration that I had from my student, so I went looking for an illustrator. Now, for years, all I heard was how expensive it was to have an illustrator illustrate your book. And don't get me wrong, it can be very expensive. But I was retiring, and so I needed to find a way that I could get my illustrations on a budget. And that's when I found Fiverr. I went to Fiverr, I looked through the different illustrators, and that was like around 2021, 2022. And it was pretty easy just to kind of go through and look for an illustrator. Now there are so many more illustrators on Fiverr, but it's still, you can filter and find the one that you're looking for. You might look at price, you might look at the type of illustrations you need, and you can always communicate with the illustrator to see if they'll work with you. And that's what happened with me. I emailed Jackson and I told him that I was on a budget and that I was retired. And I asked him if he would work with me and just do a little bit at a time. And he did. And it actually took me a year and a half to get all of my illustrations. But I was okay because I could see the progress, which was so amazing. Now, I found Jackson with my book, If You Don't Vote, You Don't Count. There was another young man that I also found on Fiverr who helped me with this book. So both of my illustrators are from Fiverr. I've heard some horror stories about people not getting the illustrations that they wanted. And I always say, you can always go to Fiverr and file a complaint. And, I'm hoping that too many people don't have to do that, because I'm just saying my experience has been pretty good. And so I think a lot of times you have to really communicate with your illustrator, and that kind of helps the process move along. The third thing I did was I found a book formatter. I found someone who would lay out my book and my illustrations, putting my text in particular places, making it look like a picture book. And the young lady that I found was on Fiverr also. And she laid my book out in such a way, it is just, and it looks like a real book. She did an amazing job. And she took my illustrations and laid my illustrations out with my text. She took her time, and we communicated. Again, I did a little bit at a time. And so I was able to keep the project on budget. I really think it's important for you to have a book formatter, because they are going to make sure that you have the measurements that you need, the correct dimensions, as I should say, that you need for Amazon and for Ingram Sparks. And so that was a really positive situation working with my book formatter. And I'm hoping to use her on my second book. Now, the fourth thing that I did was I decided what publisher I was going to use. Really, Amazon was a no-brainer, because they're user-friendly when you're uploading your books. There can be technical difficulties, but you have to work your way through that. But for the most part, Amazon is pretty user-friendly. Spark is a little bit more complicated, but my book formatter was familiar with all of the dimensions and guidelines, so that really helped me. So I decided to use Amazon and Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark will allow your books to be found online and on Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, even local bookstores can order your book for you. And so once you put it on Ingram Spark, that opens up a whole new door for you for people to find your book, I should say. Amazon too, but Ingram Spark gives you another option. So the fifth thing that I did was I had a book launch party. Mr. Vernon was a very important part of our community, and so I felt like it was important to have a book launch party. And we did in a historical building on our property, and many of our family and friends and church members came out. But you don't have to go out like that. You can do a social media book launch celebration and party. Just announcing to your Facebook friends, your Instagram friends, your TikTok friends that you have a new book, and this is where they can get it. And that's where the marketing starts. Really, they say you start marketing before you publish the book, which is good advice. And I tried to do a little bit of that, but I wanted to make sure that the family was okay with my book before I really started getting out there and talking about it. But if that's not an issue for you, start talking about your book very early in the game and build up that anticipation. Well, hey friends, I hope that these steps help you get your manuscript out of the old tattered folder and get it on the computer and get it ready to accomplish your goal, to have your dream of being a published author. I really hope this helps, and I hope you will like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and share this information so other people can get their books published. I hope you'll join me next time. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.